everyone, to Need I Say More, episode 44. I'm one of your hosts, Giuseppe, joined by my co-host with the most, Terrance.
Yes, sir.
Definitely wasn't sure. Thought it was 44. Didn't want to commit until I knew, Terrance. Didn't want to say 43.
I got you.
Yeah, you know how it is. I know we always start the show off with weather. I don't know about where you were specifically. I was playing The Last of Us at 1 o'clock. It was sunny. So sunny. In fact, I had a what?
AM? What?
No. Today, 1 p.m. today.
Oh, okay. Right.
I was so sunny. I was like, let me close the blinds. A little glare on the TV. About 40 minutes later, it was a fucking monsoon outside. It was hailing. I was like, what happened?
Oh, yeah.
It went from sunny
from
sunny to completely dark, and it was literally hailing and windy.
It was 8:30 at night outside. Yeah.
Yeah, and rain and hail, and I was like, lightning and wind. I was like, what just happened? I was like, this is why we have a monsoon in the fucking.
Somebody mixed up on the weather machine.
Yeah, it's called global warming. It's fucking up everything.
Press the wrong button.
Nah, it's nuts, man. Terrance, how you feeling this week, man? Hit me with it. Hit me with the Terrance update.
Yeah, man. I'm feeling great this week. I had a really productive week.
It's good.
Funny thing, man. When things start clicking in your life, you start to feel a little bit better about your days as you wake up, right?
For
you
sure.
Start to feel like I know what I'm doing. I got a nice little flow, things just kind of feel in place, or at least that they're getting to that place. The puzzle pieces are starting to come together. So that's what's been happening with me this week. So, I'm putting some pieces to the puzzle, and the whole thing's coming together slowly but surely. And
it's good to hear, man.
It's been a solid week, man.
That's good to hear, man.
Week, I think the last 2-3 weeks was kind of rough for me.
Yeah, they were a little harder. I know you were telling me about some stuff. Yeah.
So I'm feeling good. What's up with you, man? What's crazy? I haven't talked to you all week, and oftentimes
we really haven't.
Oftentimes we do this because we get on a show. We do a show together every week, so
we talk before and during.
Right, so we talk so
schedule time.
It was like, oh damn, I really ain't talked to Joe all week.
You seem busy. We texted a couple times, but you seem pretty busy, so we didn't really get to any talking or anything. But my week was fine, man. Yesterday I got my one of my wisdom teeth, one of my wisdom teeth pulled. Yeah, that's it. So that was fun. Yeah, so I had one wisdom tooth pulled.
Oh, okay, all right.
So, it was actually not that bad of an experience, all things considered. It was a really
the first
shitty.
Time I heard that.
But you know what it was? It was a shitty waiting room situation. It was literally, you walk into the dentist's office. There's I don't even know. It's 15 feet of space by 6 feet. It's a tiny hallway, and there's 5 chairs spread out. Yeah. By spread out, I mean against the walls, because again, it's only 6 feet wide. You go to the receptionist and she's like, okay, fill this out. And then you can go next door in the waiting room. You have to leave this now building and walk about 14 feet over. And then you go into the next building, and they're just next door to each other. You've obviously lived in New York City for many years, Terrance. When you go into a tiny little one room, store, a little retail store or whatever, one room. It was just one of those, just emptied with a bunch of chairs. I was like, what? And I had to keep going.
Sketchy.
Yeah, but I had to keep going. And it was such a horribly designed thing. I keep going back and forth, because I had to fill the paperwork out, give it to them, go back to the waiting room. Then they called me in for an x-ray, and I had to go back and wait. And then I was like, this is, and there's literally, I'm pretty sure there's only a speakerphone, and they would just put the speakerphone on and be like, can so-and-so please come to the front? And I was like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. But the thing they gave me, I asked her, I was like, am I going to be knocked out, or how's this going to work? And the dentist or whatever, she was like, oh no, you
would
won't.
they gas you?
Well, that's the thing. Because the wisdom tooth, it's proper surgery. They have to cut that shit out, break the bone basically. And so they have to give you something. And she was like, no, we're not going to knock you out. But she said, but you probably won't remember any of it, because that's kind of the thing that works. I was like, okay.
Hold on. Wait. So they didn't put you to sleep, but you.
No. Apparently they need me awake because.
How do you not remember it if you're awake?
Well, that's the thing. Apparently, I don't. she didn't remember the name of it, but I mean, there are drugs that make you like, roofies and chloroform and shit
Yeah,
make you
yeah,
forget.
yeah.
So I
You
don't
know,
know specifically, but she
they gave you
apparently
a
that's
Cosby pill.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
um, but they were like they were good at what they did, but they were also kind of like she kind of explained it. I was like, okay, cool. And then as they were like prepping, she just like I was talking to one doctor on my left, and the other doctor, like the practitioner, whatever she is, the hygienist, she like just put a needle in my arm. Didn't say anything. And I was like, that's a weird. Like I'm fine with needles, but that's like not everyone is. Some people would flip their shit if you just stuck them with a needle. And then she was, and that was like the drug they were giving me. And I started to like, my vision started to go a little bit weird. And I was like, okay, so it's kicking in or whatever. And then I thought she started to like work on me. And the next thing I know,
You was gone.
no,
I
but
mean, you was awake.
you know what it was? I remember her finishing up in the gauze and I was like, okay. And she was like, all right, and I was like, that felt like only like 5-10 minutes. This was like 30-40 minutes. And then they have you wait in like a little waiting area while you're like kind of come to a little bit more.
Yeah, like recover, pick
And as
yourself up and everything.
within the next hour or two, like as I got home, I was like, oh no, I don't remember anything. Like I thought I remembered something. I only remember my vision starting to go. And then I remember coming to with gauze in my mouth. That's all. And I was like, I don't actually remember any of it. It was really weird. But that's the thing, I felt
What
nothing.
drug is that?
I don't know, man. It's trippy though. This is why I can't do drugs. I don't like that. I don't
That
like not being.
sounds fun.
To be fair, it's effective. I felt nothing. I woke up or came to. I guess I was
You
conscious.
felt nothing. You remembered nothing.
But that's the
That
thing. I
sounds
was.
like the perfect thing for me to go to sleep with. Like,
Yeah. But that's the thing.
I want to come home and just.
But
wake
that's
up
the
and
thing.
that's
Like
it.
I was still awake, so presumably I was able to answer questions. I guess for them because I wasn't sleeping. They said like, that's not how it works. They're not. So in some capacity, I was still awake. So like I guess I was just sitting there. I don't know what I was doing. Like if I was more, I wish I would ask some questions, but. But in the few minutes of taking my like brain to catch up and everything, I didn't think about any of this
Yeah.
stuff. I still thought I remembered. It was like a really weird experience, but it was fine. I picked up some prescriptions, some antibiotics, and my mouth was eventually hurting like a few hours later. But that was just I took one of their massive ibuprofen. It's fucking 4 times the regular dosage, and haven't had any pain today or anything. So it's going good.
Ibuprofen.
That's the thing. A regular is 200 milligrams. I have 800 milligram ones.
Yeah, I had
fuck around.
When I had surgery. I had that. What I didn't like was the oxy. I
They gave you Oxycontin
They gave me oxy
and ibuprofen, or instead of?
Yeah, no, and ibuprofen.
Why do you have both? Why would you need both? Isn't Oxycontin a painkiller type thing?
It is, right? But they give you a limited amount of those, and they give you ibuprofen to kind of like, hey, once the oxy is done, then go over to the ibuprofen.
This is right. You said for your kidney thing.
Yeah.
After that makes more sense. Sorry, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
I'm thinking your tooth.
So it was like once this is done,
it's like heavy shit, and then like regular shit,
kind of like dwindle down or whatever, right?
Oxy's intense shit. That's why it's like a hard narcotic.
Oxy made me feel like an idiot, man. Like I
think that's why idiots take it.
I honestly I felt like I was just like moving in slow mo. I was
it doesn't
like
sound good.
I didn't really want to do anything. I was just kind of like real.
How long would you have to take it for?
I was very chill.
How long would you have to take it for? Like just a week?
I think it was like a week, maybe 2.
That's the thing. I'm not a big fan of taking pills. Like I take like Advil if my head hurts.
I stopped early. I stopped early. That's the thing. Like I'm gonna deal with the pain and I'm gonna take ibuprofen.
So that's the thing. I have these massive ibuprofens if I need them. I don't think I will because I didn't need them today. But I have antibiotics, and you have to take all of them because otherwise, I can't get an infection in my fucking tooth. But it's I don't like I don't like taking them. I don't like having to take a lot of like any drugs. Like I don't know. It's not my style. Yeah, obviously these are like not. I'm not taking crack, but I'm saying something about like putting all this crap in your body that is like it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I just kind of I recommend, not I recommend, but my family's big on natural remedies and
I'm a bit. I am with you on that. I understand like these are doctors and they're dentists. I trust. Like I'm gonna take the antibiotics. Obviously, I don't.
God knows antibiotics. Yeah.
But I am with you. I'd rather
bacteria and things like that.
Like outside of like a regular, Advil or whatever. Like if I can avoid taking
Pills,
some
no.
pills, like I have to take some of them. I get it. I trust these doctors, but at the same time, if I can not, like the Oxycontin for you, like if you felt you could do the pain, just do it. You know?
No, I had to cut it out. I had to cut it out. I
Yeah.
felt myself depending on it, and I felt
That's
myself
that's what it does, man.
becoming like I said, like a zombie. I felt myself becoming a zombie, and it was just like, and then the process of when you come off of it is one in itself too, because I was like, my brain is just not moving the way I wanted to move. Like I knew my brain was just moving slow. I was catching things slowly,
That's not a good
and
feeling.
it was just like,
It's not a
what?
good feeling.
Like I wasn't processing things how I
It was
needed to
dumbing you
process
down.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, completely
That's
dumbing
the
you
thing.
down.
That's why like you hear like professional athletes talk about that. Like as they get older and you can't like big stars, like as you get older and you can't quite play as well, it sucks. And that's kind of what it was, like it's the same with you. You're like, I am dumber right now and I'm responding slower and I don't like it. And I'd be with you on that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so now I was thinking about, you think, let's say like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, Bill Gates, one of these guys, let's say they were in a kitchen and they had some money on the counter and they were eating something, right? And then like $100 bill just falls into the trash can. Do you think they look at it and go, "Nah, it's fine"?
Yep.
You know, you said yeah,
Yep.
because
I've
it's
met
like,
some very wealthy people, and I realize how stingy with money they are. Like
so
they
you
are.
think, sorry, you think they would go after that $100 bill in the trash can?
I think if they saw $100 that they just slipped out and it was theirs, and it went into the trash, yes,
You think so? Bezos, who has 100 billion, you think he
yes,
cares about that $100 bill?
yes,
Okay. Okay. So
yes, and I
even
think that's
if all
what
the
has
trash and
kept him
it's like
rich.
you see it like it falls into like something like, so he threw out some pasta and now he knows there's a bunch of sauce on it. Do you think he just goes, it's not really worth it? I have 100 billion in the bank. Or
Yeah,
he
see,
goes, no, I want the
I
money.
think that that changes the context of it, right? That
I said
changes
fall in the
how.
trash. That's what I mean. Is it's now a dirty. It's literally dirty.
I mean, the value of it stays the same, right?
For sure.
Because
I'm just saying like
the value of the dollar stays the same.
it
But
absolutely does. What I'm saying is like
now what you're willing to do for it, it's different.
that's my point, right? Like my roommate was telling me we have a like what is the name? A pasta strainer, like a some of the
Yeah,
seed
yeah.
corianders. I don't know. And it's hanging up in the kitchen and it's on a nail hung up there. And he said he took the thing off and the nail fell and it fell in like the recyclables. And he was like, well, I'm just gonna get a new nail. I'm not gonna go fish that shit out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was thinking about that. I was like, with someone like Jeff Bezos, some of these guys, I mean, they have quite literally infinite money. So if, to me, if I feel like if 100 falls, there's like, I mean, if it fell out of their pocket, they pick it up. But if it slipped in the trash, I think they'd be like, it's fine. Like I don't care. I don't care. I can literally.
Again, I think you.
I make more. He makes more money in a time it would take him to fish it out than it would, than 100.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Just I don't know. Something I was thinking about, Terrance.
Yeah.
Anyway, Terrance, before we get too off topic with Jeff Bezos and him bathing in a, I'm sure he jumps into like a Scrooge McDuck style thing of gold coins in the morning.
And when you have that much money, you
might as well
better have a goddamn liquid coin room that you could swim
also
in.
You at some point he had to probably earlier on he had to have just thrown a ton of money on a bed and just fucked someone on it, right? You have to.
Absolutely.
I mean,
you saw the little video floating around where his new girlfriend trying to get cozy to her. Yeah.
No, I mean, listen, if
you got it.
If you are with Jeff Bezos, she must be. I mean, I guarantee he's getting a prenup, so you just enjoy the lifestyle. Here we go. Who is that? Leonardo DiCaprio?
That's Leo.
He's not that much taller than both of them, is he?
No, he's standing on something.
Oh, I sound like he looks like a giant.
But do you look at the thirstiness?
Yeah. Dude, it's Leonardo DiCaprio, Terrance.
But who is she with? The richest man in the world.
And she's next to like one of the most good-looking men in the world. I would if I was next to Leo, I would probably do the same thing, Terrance. So if you see a video of me doing that, don't be mad at me.
This was all intentional, right?
I will say,
look at the look,
Terrance. I will say part of this. It's a 6-second video. We don't know exactly. Like maybe she's like mildly slipped into him.
Bro, in that six, look at the gaze.
I understand the gaze. Listen,
gaze.
Terrance, it is Leonardo DiCaprio. You're making it seem like it's fucking Jeff Goldblum or something. It's fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. He's like he's famous.
Hypnotized.
He's famous for being one of the most good looking men in the world. Like,
bro, you have seen when women give this look.
Well, not to me, but yeah.
When women give this look,
oh, that's funny.
It's over. It's over.
Terrance.
She belongs to him now. It
Again,
don't matter
listen,
what it don't matter.
Terrance,
the richest. Look, she's literally with the richest man in the world.
I need to press this to you. It's a 6-second clip. You know, like things don't always look quite.
In 6 seconds, she hasn't taken her eyes off of him.
Because he's speaking, and also he's also like a foot taller than her in this situation. She has to look up, so it looks worse. If they were standing more eye to eye, see there, she looks away right there because she now has to walk.
She's looking at the stairs to get closer to Leo.
Terrance, she was looking at him for 4 seconds. What do you want her to do? Like he's talking. All I'm saying is he's one of the most good-looking men in the world. What do you expect? He's also one of the biggest stars in the world. I'm not surprised at all.
I'm not surprised.
Maybe they're into some weird swinger.
I'm not
shit,
surprised
man.
Because it's Leo, but
also, but listen
again, I go by body language more so than anything.
But you're also saying, oh, she's with the richest man in the world. It's like, yeah, but Jeff Bezos is not known for being good looking. He's a decent looking guy, but like this woman, whoever she is now standing next to famously one of the most good looking guys in the world.
Guy in the back.
I mean, kind of. It's this phone. It looks like it was shot in a fucking Nokia fucking 520 or whatever.
You know
bro?
that
I don't know
old guy that's at every basketball game.
What do you mean everyone?
He's like
in the world.
No. He sits literally courtside at every basketball game. No one knows him.
For who? What team?
Every team. Like he's. Oh man.
This sounds. Let's not go down a rabbit hole because if we're gonna go down another rabbit hole, we gotta get to the show.
I'll send it over to you.
Well, yeah, on another show.
I'll send it over to you.
As I was saying, Terrance, before you suddenly interrupted about Jeff Bezos' girlfriend being attracted to the most good-looking guy in the world, what I was gonna say is, we of course are gonna do our patented Black Excellence shout out of the week.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all.
Oh yeah. Black Excellence can't stop, won't stop. Shout out of the week goes out to the
Leonardo DiCaprio's new girlfriend.
She's not Black Excellence.
If she was, that would be a phenomenal moment.
She's not Black Excellence, but she's excellent.
To be fair, do we know anything about her? Maybe she is. I don't know. I can barely tell in that clip.
We know nothing. Jeff Bezos hid her from the world.
I mean, I would. She looks hot. To be fair, again, when you're the richest man in the world, I don't think you're going to date a nuggo.
Yeah, he took her completely off of Google.
And he can afford that.
Yeah, he can do that. But no, a shout out of the week goes out to Miss Rihanna.
Apparently it's Rihanna, according to her.
I say Rihanna.
I'm just saying everyone says Rihanna. Apparently she pronounces it Rihanna. Yeah, that's not what everyone. Rihanna.
Yeah, I like.
That's actually much
Rihanna.
Funnier. I can't believe how young she is.
She's super young. She's 33 years old. She's now
Terrance, you're 32. How is she done this?
Now worth $1.7 billion. Right?
What NBA team is she buying?
And again, if you've been following my theme of the week, I am on a money search. Theme of the month. I'm on a money search with the Black Excellence, and I'm loving seeing all of this.
She's one of the highest selling recording artists on earth. You know, like more than the Beatles, more than a lot of people. Like I was surprised when I first learned that. I was like,
a lot of her accolades, right? Like
it just I can't believe how many, like, she sold more than almost everyone ever. Like more than the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, most of these people, she outsold all of them. And it's like, I know Rihanna's big, but that's wildly impressive.
It goes to a lot of her work, honestly, because when she first came out, she wasn't that popular. She's been
popular, I feel like, for a while now, like 10 years. She's been
popular for a while, but when she first came out, her first song was something Mr. DJ upon the replay, and it was okay.
Is that her song?
That good.
Hey, Mr. DJ.
Yeah.
When that's the music up?
Yeah.
That was her.
That's her.
I never.
Wow. a while ago, right? You
I mean,
remember
you
it.
could have told you could. I could have. I would assume that. I don't know who would have been.
But exactly, right? And then once you more so get into her career, like she just started dropping hit after hit after hit after hit after hit. But obviously, what really catapulted her was the Rihanna Fenty line, her beauty line, as well as her Savage X Fenty,
That's what
which is
everyone has. Everyone has a beauty line or a
everybody has a
clothing
beauty
line.
line, but everyone is not doing it like Rihanna.
You know, the one person I would say is
That's
doing
it's
it
just crazy. It's
better
just
than
crazy.
most. I know this is not what this is for, but Jessica Alba is doing it better than most. She
Low
has
key, low.
she has
Is she
honest or not
honest?
honest.
That's honest. That's her. I
What's
thought it
the
was Lululemon. That was her.
what is it the diapers? Honest? Is that it? Honest? No. I should have said this if I wasn't sure. Now I'm interrupting a Black
Okay.
Excellent shout out for
I was
this.
about to say now we can't really do that. But Rihanna also
It is honest. The honest company. You
she
probably
was
bought some of their
horrible.
diapers.
She was horrible as an actress.
Who,
at
Rihanna?
first. Yeah, and Battleship. Yeah, Battleship was horrible.
I thought I wasn't huge into Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, but I thought she was
I
actually
thought
pretty
she
good.
did a good job
Yeah, she's good
in that, and as well as Ocean's 8. You know,
didn't see it.
did the movie itself as a whole wasn't that good, but Rihanna's role in it was really good.
She's done some good work with Eminem.
Yeah, they always when they
songs.
collab, they always do great.
Yeah.
But more so, just a really big shout out to her because knowing where she comes from, she speaks about her story a lot. From Barbados and kind of coming from like that poorish family. And I say poor-ish because obviously it's Barbados, so you don't really know where it falls or whatever, where they can be considered poor to us, but middle class over there.
Is it like I mean, I guess is she poor specifically? Not so much the country.
But yeah, I mean, they struggled. Let's say that. Let's say they struggled. And Jay-Z tells the story of when she came to the office to audition, he would not let her leave until that contract was signed. Like he was that much like, hey, you're gonna be a star, and you're gonna be a star under my watch or whatever. And obviously we can't do a show without including Jay in it. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Wesley Snipes likes her too. So.
Right, exactly. So you know, shout outs to Jay for kind of like really finding Rihanna and trusting her as well. But then we go to this, and to see someone blossom and say, hey, I'm not just gonna do music, but I'm gonna make this more, is always a great thing. And Black excellence, because she's now again worth 1.7 billion, and it's only gonna keep going up from there. So big shout outs to Rihanna.
Where's she based, Terrance? What city is she based in? LA, you think? Probably
LA. Like yeah, it gotta be LA.
I don't know. She ain't buying the Lakers or the Clippers, but she'll buy something. We'll get her. We'll get an NBA team at some point.
Oh, for sure. She's on somebody's board.
She is outsold. I don't know if you ever heard of this band, Terrance. A band called Queen. You ever heard of Queen?
I know Queen.
You ever heard of Whitney Houston?
Mercury.
You ever heard of Whitney Houston?
No, a little Whitney.
Celine Dion. The Rolling Stones. Kanye West. All those guys. Drake.
Sound familiar.
She outsold everyone I just said. Right. Just want to throw that up there. The only people she hasn't outsold are the Beatles, Elvis, Michael Jackson, Elton John, Madonna, and Led Zeppelin. So, Terrance, that's insane, especially since some of these bands have been doing it for like 100 years, and she's been doing it for like freaking 15.
Yeah.
God, listen, man, I don't know if that speaks to her business acumen, having a right agent, great songs, or all of the above, but good for her.
I mean, when you got Jay on your side, it's kind of hard to fail.
When you got the Hove?
It's kind of hard to fail. You don't really
Rock
know
Nation
anybody that was associated with him.
That's why we got to get Jay to sponsor the show, man. The Rock Nation presents. Need I say more? We're going over this.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, he's a hard brand to beat. I remember hearing someone say, like, do you imagine if you were like trying to negotiate a fucking a player's contract and you look across the table and Jay-Z sitting there? What the fuck do you do?
Oh no, you lost.
It's like, oh well, great. What does he want? 500 million, maybe 400. Okay, deal. Great.
Yeah, you lost. You lost that. Something that was big on Twitter. I think it was pretty funny. I'll ask this to you. Would you rather take the 500,000 or dinner with Jay-Z?
$500,000 or one dinner with Jay-Z?
Yeah.
Why does Jay-Z want to have dinner with me? Is he just want to like? Is he literally just gonna get a piece of pizza, or is he like, I want to hear your ideas and let's talk?
I don't know. It depends on what you talk about. It depends on what happens at the dinner.
That's tough. On the one hand, Jay-Z's not really
It's
in my
tough,
wheelhouse. Right? Jay-Z's not really in my wheelhouse for that type of stuff. If I had $500,000, I'd make a movie. Jay-Z's not that he couldn't, I'm sure, help with that, but you with your poetry, I'm sure he could probably get you like a rap deal somewhere. That's tough. That is a tough one. $500,000 is good money, man. You can build something with that.
Really
so no, that should be our hypothetical of the week.
Yeah.
But all right, Terrance, let's get on with the show. Shout out to you, Miss Rihanna. First thing I want to say, Terrance, is people need to understand their place in the world. And when I say place in the world, I don't mean like how much money you make. I mean quite literally your physical place in the world. If you get to the top of a staircase, Terrance, don't just stand there.
What do you mean if I get to the top of the staircase? If
you're walking up a stair, stairs, how you walk up and down stairs?
Yeah.
If you get to the top of one, don't just stop moving. You gotta keep going. If you stop moving, do you know what happens? You're in everyone's fucking way. Yeah,
absolutely.
People aren't aware of that though. We say that like it's obvious, but people seem to be I'm thinking about this. The other day I was walking down the street. This guy, I think he walked out of Grace Papaya. I don't know where he's walking out of. He got out and he had a little suitcase with him, and he stood in the center of the corner of the street. Now,
I hate those.
Right now, he seemed like a perfectly nice guy. He probably wasn't paying attention, but this is what I mean. Pay attention to where you're located. If you want to eat a little slice of pizza, stand your dumb fucking ass next to the building where you're out of the way. Don't stand in the middle of the sidewalk, because you know what sidewalks are for, Terrance? They're for walking, and you're in the fucking way.
Gotta walk. Walk.
In my life, I've opened doors up and hit people. I don't say sorry, because why are you standing in front of a door? Doors are quite literally designed to go in and out. That's
you mean when you push the door open and somebody's like,
I open a door and I hit someone's there. I'm like, well, am I going to apologize? Why are you standing in front of a door like a moron? Like if you stood on a highway and hit by a car, I don't.
Asshole, man.
This is my point, Terrance. I've never gotten hit by a door because I don't walk out of a door and go, I'm just gonna stand here for a few minutes. No, I'm gonna move out of the way if I need to stand somewhere. You walk 2 feet to the side. Pay attention to where you are in the world, people, okay? Physically. If you want to stop and do something, move to the side, go next to a building, next to a car.
Get out the way.
Yeah. And if you don't stand in front of doors or stairwells, these things are designed to have people like, Terrance, you don't park your car on the highway, do you? It's because cars are going through there. Same thing with doors. Christ. All right, Terrance. Something we talked about pre-show last week that we're going to talk about now is the media. And I think the misconception that the media spreads unintentionally, I think, for the most part. So before we do that, though, Terrance, I'm going to give everyone a little lesson on how websites work and why I think this exists. Okay, you ready for this, Terrance?
On how websites work. Okay.
Yes. Terrance, there's essentially two kind of websites in the world. There's one that is subscription, like the New York Times, right? Like you can't go to New York Times and just look at their articles. You have to pay for that, right?
I mean, there was a time you could.
Right. But that's not the world we live in anymore. And most things are not that way. Most websites are free, right? You just go to a website, you're there. Now, Terrance, the reason they're free is because they make their money in primarily one way, advertising. Okay. That is the reason that when you go to a website, it's free. When you go to whatever website you go to, it's free. It's because they make their money from ads. Now, this is how it works. Let's say you want to advertise on IGN. IGN's a big video game and movie website, right? And you want to advertise on them. You go, okay. And you go, how much is it to advertise for the week? We have a movie coming out next week. How much does it cost?
Yeah.
IGN might go, it's $50,000 for the week. I say, okay, well, is that worth it? What are your numbers? Now, IGN's going to come back and they're going to hit him with numbers. They're going to say, okay, I'm making these numbers up, by the way. They might say, okay, so we on average get 20 million unique views on IGN.com or on our app per month. Our average article does 1 million views. Your ad, if you do for 1 week at $50,000, you're guaranteed at least 20,000 views per day, and there's a click in of 3%. So I think 3% of the people who see it will actually click on your ad and go to whatever links. These are the numbers you're going to give them. These are all that's how it works. Okay. Now, in order so obviously these websites want higher numbers. How do you get numbers? Why you need to get people to your website? How do you get people to your website? Well, if your website is any kind of news of any kind, whether it's IGN or CNN, the way to get views is to have good, catchy article titles. Okay, that's how it works. That's where clickbait comes from.
Hate?
Huh?
You mean the ones you hate, the headlines that you hate?
No, see, that's the thing. See, we all know this is where clickbait started, right? The reason clickbait exists is because they'll say some nonsense that gets people to click on the link. And do you know what that does, Terrance? It works because people click on the link and they can now go, we get 1 million views per article, even if it's wrong. Now, that's why the real like quality places like ESPN or whatever, these places, they will try, they don't put clickbait, but their headlines, their strap lines, whatever it is, are going to say something that is going to make you want to click on it, right? Whatever that means, whatever you're looking at, that's what it's going to be of. That's how it works. Okay. Terrance, me and you deal with this for the show. We need to come up with good titles for the show. Okay. Yeah. And we don't try to make clickbait titles. We try to make something that we think is interesting. It's going to make people want to click on it. This is how it works. This is what drives our entire media right now. Is how to get people to click on your stuff. 100%. Okay. Now, I say all of that to go, because I want to go into the media and why I think the media is so harmful right now. It's because, for instance, we talked about Dave Chappelle a few weeks back. You remember this?
Yep, of course.
One of the things we were saying is, apparently people were saying the LGBTQ community is mad at Dave Chappelle for what he said as trans people, right? So what I asked you, Terrance, is like, is this true? Do we know this for a fact? Because this is what I'm saying. The media, let's say someone's writing an article about this. Okay. And by the way, the reason I also mentioned all the stuff with how ads work is because they can absolutely say, they can actually do something. Let's say they go, okay, so people are mad at Dave Chappelle. They write an article that's huge numbers. Do you know what that means they're going to do, Terrance? They're going to write more about Dave Chappelle and this problem. Because if people are, that's how it works. If people are clicking on these things, then they're going to keep writing. That's why if you see, let's say you see an article or some sort of story, and the reason it keeps on going for days or weeks is because people keep going and clicking on these links. It's how it works. Like the thing that happened with Alec Baldwin and the shooting, the reason it became such a big story is because everyone's clicking on it. And so it got more and more stories.
I mean, tragic
it was for sure. Right, but what I'm saying is sometimes people are like, why is everyone always talking about this one thing? Why is that people keep posting articles? Like they are writing articles because people are clicking on these articles. If people are interested in what happened with Alec Baldwin and they write a story that's 10 million views, they're going to write more stories. They're going to do follow-ups. Yeah. That's how it works. You need to understand the entire thing is based off of views and clicks.
So do you think that let's ask this question here. Do you think we're losing our independent train of thought and relying solely on reading headlines without the details, right? Because oftentimes I feel as though people get trapped in the headline. They'll skim the headline and won't even really read the details of the actual article. Like the article may actually be a really good article, but the headline was just something to grab your attention.
Right now, Terrance, I think that's a fantastic question you just asked. And I think the answer is yes, because I am guilty of this. I'm sure you are too. We're all guilty. You see a headline, you get one piece of information, and you just go, I don't have time to read every article in the world. You just assume you know what's going on, and that's what's driving this. Because if you read the article, it might be a terrible article, but it probably has a lot more information than the headline does. So I think that, I think we are losing a bit of I think there's, what it is, there's so much information coming in now, because we used to live in a time where like if something happened, there was no internet and you heard about it maybe weeks later or days later or whatever it was. Whereas now everything's up to the second, you have it everywhere. So there's just too much information. So
I don't know if you noticed this, but I noticed this over the past probably like year or two, right? The stores, like the deli stores, they're carrying less newspapers.
Well, newspaper unfortunately is dying. It's being replaced by digital, unfortunately. But.
So, it's being replaced by digital.
Yeah,
but remember, there was a time where when you got a newspaper, it was more about reading just what's on the front cover.
Oh, yeah.
It was actually like,
you got to go through it.
I purchased this with 50 cents or quarter, I think it was.
Well, it depends on when, but yeah.
Geez, I feel so old. But But when
A
you
regular newspaper used to be $1 or
it
less.
was
Actually, it
right,
was usually
yeah,
less. Like it was the Sunday one that was the big one.
that was the big one. That
That
was
was like
like a
$1.50
dollar
one or something.
25. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was like dollar
I
25, dollar
couldn't
50.
tell you how much they cost now. I mean, maybe they cost the same
Right.
for all I know.
So, but when you bought it, it was more so like an investment in like, I want to actually know what's happening here. You like,
Yeah,
just
because
to
you're paying
read
for it.
through it and everything like that. So now when we hit the subscription method of this as well, I'm okay with it and then I'm not, right? Because you have the ability to go back in the digital world.
Right.
Traditionally, you didn't have that unless you went to like
What do
a
you mean go?
library
What do you mean go
and
back? Like,
with the newspapers. You
uh,
couldn't just get last week's newspaper.
oh, you can search old articles. You're saying,
Right,
I suppose, right?
exactly.
Unless you kept that article, that newspaper, it's
Right.
over.
But then remember, stories changed.
Yeah.
Stories changed in the newspaper. Like it was, hey, this is the headline, this is the story, blah blah blah. And then a couple of days later, that whole story would change, but you would really kind of forget
Right.
that original story because you weren't able to really go back to that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it
Yeah. Now
so
you
we're
can keep
really
referencing
in,
old articles.
yeah, right. So now we're in a really in a place, and this kind of not only goes to the fact of what you're talking about as far as like grabbing attention with headlines and everything, but it also goes back to the fact of not being able to make mistakes and B kind of just like proceed with how things are. We're in this place where we always have to go back and say, "Oh, hey, you forgot to dot that I.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at
Unfortunately,
this.
people can't
You
enjoy
didn't
it.
cross that. You didn't cross
We,
that T there."
you know what it is though. I think that it. So, by the way, the idea of having like a good headline is not new. We've had this for since newspapers existed in like the early 1700s. Like the front page, you wanted something good, so people would want to buy a newspaper. So I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with having a good title. Obviously, clickbait's wrong, but I do think what you originally said about that was right. Like, are we living by titles, like by headlines? I think yeah, and I think we're like I said, we're all guilty of it. But I think what we need to do, then the point of the show, we talk about question everything. You need to really
Mhm.
we need to think about these things because let's say you're writing for I don't know whatever website BBC, and you are writing about something that happened, the Dave Chappelle thing, right? Let's say you're writing about Dave Chappelle. You write, oh, so it looks like some people are upset. Well, you know what a lot of reporters do now? They go to Twitter or Facebook where people are talking instead of
Mhm.
and then so let's say you find 5 people who on Twitter identify part of the LGBT community. And you go, your article now reads, people are mad. The LGBT community is mad at Dave Chappelle. Now that may be true, Terrance, but do we really know? Because even if you pull 100 people on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, there's like I think there's 18.5 million people who are identifying the LGBT community. So
Yeah.
what are we talking about here? Like I don't know if there's a way to actually pull this number, but what I'm saying is like we see that those words, right? This group, this community, these people are upset, they're mad, this and that. But are they? Or is the media just trying to get the article so they say that? And again, I don't think it's them specifically being deceptive, but in order to write a factual story, they have to do something like that. And I think, I don't know. I still to this day don't know if the LGBT community as a whole is actually mad at Dave Chappelle or if maybe just a small percentage.
Well, here's some breaking
couldn't tell
news,
you.
Joe. Here's some breaking news.
Oh boy,
All right.
that's a big deal.
Yeah, no, I mean, we were just talking about Dave Chappelle. Just came across the social media feed, as everything hits first. But Deadline reports Dave Chappelle was slated to appear at a fundraiser for his former high school, the Duke Ellington School of Arts in Washington, D.C., on November 23rd, but it has now been officially postponed until next spring. Reportedly, several students got into a heated debate with school faculty members over a planned exhibition honoring Dave Chappelle at the same time as a fundraiser for the theater. Students were discussing threatening to walk out in protest of Dave being there due to his Netflix special that stirred up tons of controversy recently for remarks about the transgender community.
Wait a minute. Sorry. They were going
to protest and walk out while he
but
was.
before you said that, what did you say that they students said they were going to honor him in some way?
The school was honoring him.
School was going to honor him. And then there's, but see, this is what I mean. I don't know if 5 students went and said something, is that what I'm saying is I don't know if there's a way to get the answer to if a whole community or whoever it is mad, but we are living our lives assuming that when we see these headlines that they are factually accurate, when the reality is we don't know that as a whole that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I don't know how you pull the entire LGBT community. It's 18.5 million people. I mean, it's not like it's just a button, but I don't know. I think we have to stop. We do as a whole, like you said, we need to stop just reading headlines for one, but we also need to get out of the way of like, if someone says, oh man, there's like, people are mad about this thing, we need to really go, are they though? We need to like really question that before because I think so many people just assume they're mad. And so many people, by the way, are sheep that they'll go, I'm part of the LGBT community. I am mad. How can you say that? A lot of people just do what these headlines tell them. So I don't think it's sinister. I don't think they're doing it to be bad. I think they're trying to sell their site. I think as a result, unfortunately, people just see a headline and they take it as a fact and they go with it. Because like to genuinely, I could not tell you if people are actually upset with Dave Chappelle.
I mean,
not enough, I should say.
We genuinely wouldn't know.
I haven't seen, like I said, has there been like a massive protest of like 10,000 people went somewhere and did it? Or is it 25 people at some college? Also, I don't give a fuck what college kids do. College kids love protest. College are famous in America
they're not even in college yet.
But high school and college is the time when people like they feel they're ready to die on any hill, like anything. They're like, oh, I'll die for like it's. Listen, especially in America,
understand life yet.
That's what I'm saying. Especially in America, we're someone famous for colleges and high schools, like people protesting and flipping out over like the slightest of things. And it's not that they're inherently wrong. It's just that everything is a big deal when you're that old, So maybe they're totally fine, or maybe they're just blowing something out of proportion because that's what kids do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think as a whole, like I said, with media, we just got to be better about really reading into stories and really questioning these things. Not like questioning that they're being accurate, but if they say a whole community is mad, how do they know that?
They don't.
That's what I'm saying. Like unless you really like, because there are times if something happens and like you see like thousands and thousands and thousands of people on all social medias like getting mad. That I think is a reasonable. If you see like 10,000 people, it's like, well, that's a sizable. Oh no, I think it's hard. It's hard to get that view, but I think we just need to you need to think for yourself and really see these things as opposed to taking the headlines for it. I think, Terrance, that is a good segue into our next segment. However, before we get, not a really great segue, because I actually do want to do something before we do that, Terrance.
Are you high? What? No, I'm not high. What?
You are high as a fucking kite.
You ever think that like we're not going to get any more new last names?
What?
There right now, Terrance, like you can create any first name you want. Like we talked about that on the show, Trashonia and shit like that. You can make up a name. But your last name just carries over, like people just, I know you can legally change it, but 99% of people last name, like your name Gathers is going to exist forever. So like, we've pretty much heard all the last names you're going to hear. It's not like there's a new one coming out. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. But where did you come from with this?
Like, this is why we have this segment, Terrance. I don't know. I don't know where these ideas pop in.
Yes.
Is it not fascinating? Like, there will be you will hear a new first name throughout your life. Someone's going to make up some Bamanika or something. I don't know. But last names, I mean, it's not that you won't hear new ones. It's just there's no new ones being created. That's just it. It's over. It's like Smith.
Right? I need a second to think with that.
There's 20 million Smiths in the country, right? Like that's because that it's going to keep going. We're not going to have less Smiths in 20 years. We're going to have more. Like the last name we've hit the ceiling on last names. The more our population grows, we're just gonna have more of the same last names. Who creates a last name, Terrance? That's not how it works. No, you get given your last name. Your first name, well, you can create that, but your last name is set.
What about Cher?
Well, I mean, she has a last name. She just goes by Cher.
Are we sure?
She wasn't born Cher. I mean,
no. I'm saying, are we sure she's not legally just Cher now?
Maybe I doubt it, but maybe I don't know if you can legally not have last name, but
I
let's say.
mean, when you got that much money, you probably can.
What I'm saying is you can right now you could change your name to, Prince Consuelo Banana Hammock. That's a Friends reference for you, by the way, Terrance. You don't
The
know that.
artist formerly known as Terrance.
Exactly. You can legally change your name that, but 99.9% of people aren't changing their last names, right? You just go with what you have. So my point is, we're really not like in 100 years, Terrance, in 200 years, they're still going to be the same people's last names.
Yeah.
Still going to be Smith, still going to be Jones, still going to be Gethers, still going to be, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
that's something fascinating, though.
Again, I get it. I just need a second to sit with it because
this is why
understand
we should change the intro music to like I just blew your fucking mind music is what I'm saying. Maybe is underselling these me pontificating over here.
Gotcha.
Anyway, attention. That was our little interlude to a segue. I don't know if it's a segue anymore. That's not how segues work, but
that's not a segue anymore.
No, now it's just me interrupting what would have been a good segue with nonsense. Terrance, you want to talk about the Astroworld Travis Scott?
Yeah, man. I wanted to bring that up because look, it's a lot of talk happening around this
Travis a lot of headlines, Terrance.
A lot of headlines, and a lot of talk as well. Like for instance, I was laying in bed and Corey was watching some YouTuber girl and she was just going on talking about how horrible Travis Scott was because, oh my God, like he saw the people dying and he didn't say anything, he didn't do anything, whatever the case may be, blah, blah, blah. Look, no one wants to see anyone pass away from going to a concert, festival, event, whatever it may be, right? Understand this. And we're just going to hit you with a few facts, right? Because both Joe and I have both worked in that arena and that lifestyle, right?
Yeah. So yeah, we both worked in a I don't know, it's a stadium. I don't know what's considered.
It's considered a stadium. Stadium.
That is, it is stadium.
Yeah. Stadium. Okay. So we both worked there, right? Not only that, I myself, I've worked the U.S. Open, I've worked the Kentucky Derby, I've been to the NASCAR
brag
thing,
about
worked that or whatever.
Geez.
Not necessarily brag about it, but these are big events, right? Like these are
yeah. Me and you, Terrance, have worked. Me and you have worked basketball games, college tournaments, huge concerts by like some of the biggest stars in the world.
Huge events, right?
Yeah, like boxing events. Like we have worked
the McGregor, the McGregor and Mayweather thing.
The one where McGregor. No, I wasn't there. You were at the one where McGregor showed up and started throwing shit at a bus.
Right? Yeah. Right. I was
there.
Right. So, and I say all of that to say this. Don't know how they were staffed, but 9 times out of 10, they're never staffed properly.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, right? That's both internally, that's both security wise, like production, everything, right? 9 times out of 10, they're almost never staffed properly, right? The other thing is, whatever number they originally planned for, there's always going to be more.
Yep, that's a very good point. Yeah,
there's always going to be more. I remember days where I would get in a building at 12 and they would say, "Hey, we're expecting 2,000." 4 o'clock, they would say, "Hey, we're expecting 7,000." 7 o'clock hit, they would say, "Hey, we're expecting 20,000." And it's like weird in the matter.
Yeah, what happened?
In a matter of hours, we went from 2 to 20, right? But that's just how it happens. And even when
that's just about money.
Even when the doors open and it's 20, they expect it winds up being 35.
Yeah, so that's also very true. Yeah, like those numbers are constantly in flux, and it can go either way. It's not, and that's the thing. Like, let's say they plan for 10,000, the people who are running the event aren't going to go, well,
it's a forever changing thing.
But let's say they plan for 10,000, they sell. They're not going to go, well, if you have a few hours before the show, they're like, oh, people still want them. They're going to go, well, I don't want the money. It's fine. No, they're going to go, well, we can handle it. It's fine. We'll put. That's what they do. they make those decisions. Then people like me and you have to figure out how to make it work.
There
And
you go.
unfortunately, you have situations like this where
There you go.
maybe they didn't.
Here's another thing. Joe, what happens during a sellout of a big name act?
They add tickets and seat. Well, they add seats, quote unquote. They add standing room a lot of time to stand wherever they can find space.
They will find a way to bring more people in, right? Now, let's
at
say
Barclays, they have a at one point they had, I don't know if they still have it, they had a bar that's technically inside the bowl, which is where everything happens.
They sold tickets to.
They will turn that into standing room only. And it's like not that big, but they'll put like 100 fucking people in this tiny ass little box.
There you go. Right now.
Money.
Again, now we're walking you through this, right? Because again, there's a lot of talk. We didn't even get to the part of the actual performing yet, but we'll get there. This is all just the behind the scenes stuff. Now,
this is what you don't see.
This is everything you don't see. Now, the event sold out, standing room is sold out. Now the arena is completely sold out, right? But you still got about 10,000 people that want to get in. What are they going to do? They're going to break that shit down.
Yeah. Unless you have like good security or cops.
I've been to both the at Barclays we had Powerhouse. Right.
Oh God. Oh,
we had Powerhouse.
That is one of the worst things that I've ever worked.
The Chris Brown concert, right?
That's just asking it shot, to be fair.
We had both of those events,
just
right?
follow him around.
Both of those events were completely sold out. Sold out. Floor to ceiling, sold out. People were still outside wanting to get in. You know what they did? They started breaking down the glass, breaking down the barricades to get in. They had to physically, cops and everything had to physically close the gates. You know what they started doing? They started breaking the gates, right?
Yeah, something you should also understand about when you're in these mass events, and obviously if you've been to these things, you know, but people are stupid, and people are never stupider than when they're all surrounding each other and there's bigger and more people. And then chances are, if you're at a concert or any of these things, you've been drinking, you're probably be high. People do all sorts of crazy shit. When you combine that with a ton of people, and I get about to say one or two people do something stupid, and everyone just goes.
Everybody else joins
even if it's insane, like knocking down a window or some crazy shit. People just do. I mean, the Capitol thing. If they storm the Capitol, like I bet a lot of them weren't thinking about that when it happened, and then when it did, they did it. And afterwards, a lot of them are probably like, "What the fuck were we thinking? We stormed the fucking Capitol." A lot of them are psychopaths. Don't get me wrong, but I bet a lot of them are like, "I don't know what the fuck we just did," but it's called hysteria. It's what the definition of hysteria is. You just going with whatever everyone around you is doing, and you get caught up in this thing called hysteria, and you just do these things, whatever that thing is.
It's happening right now. You got a whole stampede and everything happening outside, the buildings being crushed in or whatever. Mind you, this was an outdoor event, so it's not hard for them to break down gates and barricades and stuff like that.
According to this, apparently they don't even know how many people are actually there, because a ton of people are just coming on off the beach.
There you go.
Which is like a bizarre that they didn't, you know.
Now let's move inside, and I'll let you know right now. I don't give a damn where it is, what place, what event, whatever it is. I don't care how much security they have or anything. Drugs and alcohol is getting in. It's getting in regardless. Also, there's no way to stop
that. You have to understand, security company, like people who work security and everything, like they are like doing like checks for these types of things, but at the end of the day, they would have to do like full body searches on people, and they go through all of your shit, which they don't necessarily have. They're not cops, so they don't have the rights to do that. So it's and also they just don't
bring it
care.
In their boobs. I've seen guys slide it down their pant leg or whatever.
But also, like, a lot of times, like
I've seen a lot of ways stuff got in.
Yeah, and also a lot like the security people who work security, like they're not like sitting there trying to like.
Nobody's patting them down.
Yeah, because they can't legally. They can't really do that unless you. Right. But it's too much to have 50,000 people and like get them inside. Like, and again, it's about money. If you're getting patted down and you can't bring that in, like people aren't going to want to go to the show. If you know, so like it's one of those things where it's like, as long as they don't have weapons on them, let them in. So you're always going to get people who are drunk and high off of whippets and shit.
Right. So drugs and alcohol is getting in. Now we got all of that covered. Now let's get to the actual performer. The actual performer has no responsibility of the actions of the people that attend the event. In no way is the performer, because again, I'm going to keep using the word performer, responsible if a 9-year-old kid shows up to his event with his parents. If and again, this is a tragedy that people pass away. But if 6 people started a whole raging stampede, the performer has no control over this. Now, would it be nice for him to say stop? Don't do that, and stop the show and just like, hey, look, everybody, I need you to calm down. I need you to relax, blah, blah, blah. I've seen it before. I've seen guys on stage, hey, look, if y'all don't chill, they're gonna cut us off. I've seen it, I've also seen that work against the performer. I've seen somebody try to stop the show and the crowd get super pissed off.
Yeah, so you understand. There's a weird
my money to come here, and
that's the thing. There's a weird balance with all this stuff where like the people who are running this are trying to sell drinks and food and everything to make money on their end. And there's people who are
a lot of money to be made.
Like there are people who are like whoever is running the concert who is working for their own company, trying to do their own thing. They want people to come in and have fun. A lot of things, people look the other way on a lot of these things because most of these concerts stuff, they go on and nothing happens. Everyone's good. But unfortunately, sometimes when they don't, people have to look at this type of stuff. And it's kind of like, dude, at the end of this month, the Nets and the Knicks are coming to Barclays Center. Now, obviously, if you guys are listening, the Knicks and the Nets, both in New York City, they're rivals just because of that big game. Do you know what promotion they have during that game, Terrance?
The Subway rivalry or something.
No. But if at Barclays Center, if you arrive, I think at any point, I think before the fourth quarter, it's half off all beer, Terrance.
Oh, yeah. I got that email.
I mean, Terrance, that's a terrible idea. But those games are always sold out because everyone in New York City wants to see the Knicks and the Nets play. They play 4 times a year. It's big games. So you want to sell beer where everyone's going to get trashed. It's great. But what could potentially happen, Terrance? You have a fucking 17,000 drunk people furious at if they lose or people who are happy they won. That's what I'm saying. Like there's a weird balance of like a lot of people trying to make money and people trying to enjoy the show, but a lot of it can lead to a cocktail of disaster. And this is a great example of like, this is what happened. This is when it doesn't go right.
Now, the question everybody's trying to figure out is Travis Scott to blame for this, right?
Travis Scott, you mean Jock Webb?
Jock Webb.
As we're calling him now. So I shouldn't blame this.
Everybody's trying to figure out, is he to blame? Now, there's a ton of lawsuits out.
Really quick, Terrance, hit me with why is he taking it? Is it because it's his show? Is it because what happened when he was on stage? Is it both?
I think he's getting, and I'm saying I think because this is my opinion, I think he's getting the slack because he is the big name for the event, right? Obviously, an artist or performer cannot put on anything by themselves. They need a whole production team, and a lot of that production team comes with a whole separate company. Live Nation happens to be that company, right? Now, that company has liability and insurance and things like that. They have all of that just in case things like this happen, which I'm sure they already are in the works behind the scenes. Like, damn, you know what? Fucking 9 people died. I'm pretty sure they wasn't expecting that.
No.
I'm pretty sure. But I'm also pretty sure that they had coverage for that in case as well. Right? So there's a lot of that. So the lawsuits going against Travis Scott are honestly going to fall on deaf ears. I'm pretty sure his team is going to take care of that. Like,
so I was reading about this before we started. So the people, a lot of people are saying about this was the person or the people who have the most power in these situations when they're like something's going wrong and like things are going on is the person on stage. They can go, hey, everybody, hold on a second. We have an issue. There's a problem. They're the only ones people are going to hear. Like everyone's going to hear.
Do you know how much is going on stage when
Oh
you're
yeah, a lot.
performing?
Of course, I've been next to. But
Right.
so, but people have correctly pointed out there are videos of Kurt Cobain, Adele, Dave Grohl, Rihanna, ASAP Rocky, Mike Shinoda, Kendrick Lamar, all stopping shows to address safety issues. So
When you spot
people are
it,
pointing these out. Like they
when
all stopped their shows. Kurt Cobain, by the way, he died in '94, so that they have video that's
but
insane. But
but also the person has to spot it, right? So are you
he did.
blaming me because I didn't spot it?
But you know what it is? I think because apparently he did stop the show and go, "Hey, someone passed." He did stop, but then
He did
but then
stop at one
he
point.
kept stopping briefly and then starting, and people were saying you should have just stopped and gone, "Hold on, what's the issue? Like, are people being trampled? Like, he obviously he didn't necessarily know everything that was happening, so maybe someone it's not on him, but someone should have notified him. Like, we have people literally being like trampled. You need to be like, come out here and be like, hey guys, everyone needs to chill in the front of here. People are getting stomped. Can we all just, like he could have helped, but maybe he didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's a bad
again,
spot for him. And also people are upset because, and this is one of those bad things that happens afterwards. He's apparently made a name for himself for being like a rager. And he said how these shows are going to get like crazy. And he was saying stuff like, yeah, like
same with rock and roll.
Yeah. Right. But unfortunately, this is what happened, right? Like he makes his name as this and saying, apparently they advertise like the crazy shit that happened at past shows. But like, well, when something like this happens, everyone pulls that out. And it's like, well, it seems like you were almost asking for this. But it's a tough thing, man. It really is. Like, obviously I don't know.
It's tough,
Someone
but
should
also look where he is.
God, what a dangerous place to be. You know what I was thinking though? Do you remember that time
No
where
way he can spot what's happening here?
But it was in the front, people were saying, wasn't it? That was the problem?
It could have been anywhere.
Here's the thing. Do you
remember?
Do you remember that crazy situation where like Kim Kardashian got like kidnapped almost, and like Kanye West, I think was doing a show in New York. I think he was doing it. Like someone came on stage and told him, he was like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Okay, someone should have come out and pulled him and gone, dude.
Yes, someone from the team. Yes.
Yeah, someone should like, dude, there are people
yes.
literally being trampled. You need to stop and like address this. So
yes,
because like does he have like, I don't think he, unless someone tells him, does he have like, I don't think generally.
I'm pretty sure there's an earpiece or something like that.
Is there? And he would hear someone going, yo, hold on a second. Like
it might be tough to hear.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is directly his fault or because it's his show. It's like, why wasn't something happening?
Because he's the name on the show.
But it's his, no, but it's not. It's his show. He created this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's his
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's something. It's his festival. So like, if things are like, why didn't someone notify you what was going on? Why didn't someone tell you to stop? Like that's, I think, I understand that. I don't know if it's his fault that he didn't stop his show. I don't know if he knew, but he should have the right people in place to like, hey, if there's a goddamn stampede, you need to fucking tell me.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
That's why you hire a production team. So even
maybe his production team is shit.
Right. Even though it's his show, the production team is the one that is responsible for making sure those things are in place. Hey, security. Hey, lights. Hey, we're gonna have this many people on this side and this many people on this side. The production team handles all of that. I know that for a fact because before tickets to any concert or show are released, production team has to do a walkthrough. They have to approve this amount in this area. They have to say, hey, this section you have to close because we're going to have a big ass speaker here. Or this section, we're going to have this happening or whatever the case may be. This happens at every single event. And at each area, they have eyes on each area. So yeah, the production team, which is Live Nation, that's the name that needs to be in the headlight. Live Nation drive the ball here.
I think one of the problems though also is like, it seems like their security was maybe a little lax because like people, absolutely. It seemed like a lot of people were getting inside that didn't buy tickets. And so like, it seems like there was way more people than they anticipated. And that's, you don't know if you sneak into a show, you're already feeling crazy. So you don't know, like,
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it feels like they didn't do a good job to keep a lid on this concert and make it what it, so there's definitely people to blame. Travis Scott's probably taking a little too much of it individually, but it is his show. And I don't know. It's like that video you just played. I don't know if I let that out, to be honest with you, but that video, he is trying to help. He did stop the concert and go, hey, like, there's someone, don't touch him. So I don't know. He's probably taking a little too much of it, but it's a scary situation, man. Nothing is more scary than being surrounded by people, it's getting hard to breathe, and you get trampled. It's a scary thing,
I
man.
will never do these festival things. I
No,
just
I think
it's just way
festivals are
too much.
trash. All of them are
Way too
terrible.
much.
Lollapalooza, all this bullshit. They
I've been to
sound
Rolling
terrible.
Loud once in Miami, and when I went, I was lucky enough to be with one of the acts, so I was like on stage and stuff. But just looking out in the crowd,
It's
it
too
was like
much,
I
man.
would never want to be there.
You know what? It's too much, and things like this. I know these things are fairly rare. Most festivals go on without a hitch. Like no one gets fucking trampled to death. There's just too many. There's too many possibilities of things going wrong, and I have to put my life in a lot of other people's hands. Like some random security guard might not even want to be there. So I just don't know, man. I think like right here, man. One victim, 22 years old, was declared brain dead, and then she died the next day. I mean, that's a terrible way to die, Terrance. She went to a concert at 22 years old, was trying to go see some fucking show, and that's what happens to her. Anyway, Terrance, we're getting pretty long in the tooth in this show, so let's wrap this one up.
Let's go.
I don't, Terrance, I don't have a hypothetical for you this week. I'm sorry, man. I know I let you
It's
down.
weird. It's weird.
I had a bunch of good ones I've done over the last few weeks, but I nothing came to me. So I don't want to force it unless you have like one in the back of your head.
I mean, the only hypothetical I had
Would
was
you ever go to one of these things?
dinner with Jay or 500,000.
We could do that one. Or do you want to just substitute your fortune cookie advice for the end?
I
No,
don't have a fortune cookie.
no,
with
no.
this
We'll,
one.
we'll we'll do that. I I th- mm, I think I would take 500,000. I think I would take 500,000 and try to make a film because I can make a film for way cheaper than 500,000 and really try to do something good with that. Like maybe invest some of it, maybe try to. I think I could do that. Like I think Jay-Z would be great to meet, and he's a very smart businessman, especially. But it doesn't mean like he's gonna be like, oh man, I want you part of the Rock Nation. Maybe for
I mean,
you,
yeah.
you are a dude from Brooklyn. I feel like you'd be see more eye with you.
I mean, yeah, that would be nice, right? But also, it's no guarantee I'm gonna walk away with anything other than just like great Jay-Z gems.
But I will say, Terrance, we talked about this. You and I are great salesmen. You don't think you could sell Jay-Z a little bit? I know he's Jay-Z.
Absolutely. I think I could definitely sell him on something.
You're
But
like,
I
yo,
also
I'm
think that
from
with
Brooklyn, just where you're
500K,
from.
I also think with 500K, I'll meet him eventually.
That's what I'm saying. Can you parlay the 500K into building something for yourself into where you'll meet him anyway? That's
Right,
what I'm thinking
exactly.
too.
That's exactly where my mind is. So,
Me and you
if
are
you
too
ask me,
creative.
dinner with Jay-Z or 500K, give me the 500K because then I'll meet him, a couple years
Did
down the line.
and get dinner then. That's the thing. I think you and I are we
I'll
are.
buy
I don't
him
want
dinner.
exactly. He'll buy us dinner. No, but that's the thing. I think that you and I are creative enough, and also like we are always trying to like do a new business or come up with something to do like that to where 500K I might just come to you and go, dude, what are we doing with this money? Like let's do something big with it. Whereas, yeah, like I think I think if you're a lot of other people might not have that in them where they're like, I don't know, I just want to meet him and maybe he'll teach me how to become rich. I think
Yeah,
me and
no.
you would go, it's like if you give someone, teach a man to fish, he'll
And
feed for
look,
a day or whatever it is.
what if we get there and it's like, I'm sitting there having dinner with this guy and he's just quiet.
Yeah.
He says nothing.
So it's a big risk. You really don't know. Maybe he gets there and he's like, I have to be here through legal obligations.
Right.
So
Yeah.
enjoy
I gotta leave
enjoy
in
the
10 minutes.
caviar.
I only have 10 minutes here.
You got 30 minutes of my time. Enjoy caviar. He's on his phone the whole time with Beyonce.
Yeah. Come on now. Nobody has time for
I don't
that.
think he'd do that, but yeah.
Yeah.
But all right, Terrance, that brings us to the end of the show. Unless you got something else.
No, I got nothing else. Pretty fun show. Once again, prayers out to the families for the people that were tragically lost
Yes,
during
for sure.
the festival. But it's funny because you can try to have dinner with Jay or you can take the 500K, but you also decided to be here with us, and we appreciate that. Need I say more?